It was all a purge of fear. So all that fear needed to come out. So the lesson there is like whatever you have fear around, whatever you feel fear around, whatever you have that feeling of anxiety around, just know that that's coming up and coming out for a reason. And it's being let go of, it's being released. And so even though I knew on a subconscious level that all that fear was coming up, that was stuck in my body, was being released, I was still afraid to do it. Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host and head coach, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz expert, founder of the quantum coaching certification, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. This is the show to help you make magic your everyday normal, where the ripple effect is real and the guest experts are world class. My mission is to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation teachings, business tools, and coaching techniques to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Are you ready for quantum transformation? Let's do this. Hello, my BAM fam. I am elated to be doing a solo episode today. It is so exciting to be with you today. I have been wanting to record. So much has been coming through and I can't wait to share it all with you. But there's so much I need to catch you up on in life and in manifestations. Like there's so much happening. And I've been in a 16-day NLP trainers training. So I am going to be a trainer of neuro-linguistic programming, which is going to be added to the Quantum Coaching Academy. So the Quantum Coaching Academy as it is has elements of NLP. And now I'm adding in full-blown practitioner training into the program, which is super exciting as it gets integrated into the future rounds of the program. And oh my goodness, this training has been all day, every day for 16 days with Sundays off. So it's been like I'm in like a time warp and I don't even know what day it is. It's kind of crazy. And it's been the most expansive training. It has pushed me so far outside of my comfort zone. It has stretched me. It has strengthened me. And it has made me an even more powerful facilitator. And that is my goal, is to be the master of my craft. And I realize that I'm never not going to want to up level in my facilitation, in my leadership, in my coaching abilities, in my abilities to teach my students powerful coaching and how to work with the subconscious mind. And yesterday we had a 30+ page closed book test, and I have not studied like that for anything. And it just goes to show me that I never really classified myself as a good student. But when I'm interested in learning something and I want to be great at something, I have the ability to be great at it, to be amazing at it, to be world class at it. And so I passed the test, which is super exciting. And we went out last night and we celebrated, and I have 2 more days of class. So I have a presentation today, and then the following day is demo day, and then we are done, and I will be a board certified trainer of NLP. So I train the trainers. So exciting. So exciting. So that is a little update on where I have been and why there's been a lack of solo episodes. We also closed out the QCA launch, which was amazing, a multiple 6-figure launch. I'm so excited for this next round. The updates to the program are freaking phenomenal. Our team is stronger than ever. There's so much to fill you in on there as well. So I will do my best to fill you in, but I want to take you back to my ayahuasca journey and experience with the grandmother medicine. I am so excited to share this with you. I want to first put a disclaimer that ayahuasca is a plant medicine and it is not for everyone. I'm not telling you to do ayahuasca. I'm not recommending ayahuasca. I am not promoting it. I am just simply sharing my experience, and that is it. So I just want to say that. And everybody has their own opinions on plant medicine, and I totally respect that. And this is simply my journey and my experience, and that is it. And I'm aware that a lot of people might not even know what ayahuasca is. And so let me just tell you a little bit about what it is. Ayahuasca is a South American psychoactive brew used both socially and as a ceremonial spiritual medicine among the indigenous people of the Amazon basin. So this medicine comes from the Amazon, and it is basically a psychedelic and entheogenic brew, which is made from a vine, and it's also made from a shrub, a vine, and it's basically mixed together. And they call it in the Amazon like a pharmahuasca kind of thing, because it is really used as medicine in the Amazon. And what happens is that those brews come together and they create DMT. And so it is quite the experience, I will say that. And I highly recommend doing your own research on it and the effects that it can have, as I did myself. I actually honestly never thought, I had the thought years ago, like I would do ayahuasca. I'm the type of person that I believe in plant medicine. And so I have always said like I would do it if the opportunity presented itself. And so what happened was when I was on my first girls trip with Jen Casey, Catherine Zankina, Stephanie Bellinger, Stephanie Burgos, and Lauren Eliz Love, we were watching a documentary, and it was all about ayahuasca. And it was called, what was it called? It was called The Reality of Truth. And it was so good. And after that, they were all like, oh my gosh, like let's go to Rhythmia and do ayahuasca, because there's this facility in Costa Rica who you go there for ayahuasca ceremony, and it's a week long, and you do it 4 times, and it's a very like healing, cleansing, life-changing experience. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And something inside of me was holding me back. Something inside was like not feeling 100% about it. And I was scared because I didn't want to have FOMO. You know, I wanted to go with my friends, but I didn't want to make the decision out of, oh, I'm going because I'm going to be left out. That's not why I didn't want to go to be cool. I wanted to go because it was in true alignment with myself. And so every time I went to book my room, something would happen. The phone would like cut out, or I couldn't get through. And finally I called and I got through, and guess what? There was no spots left for that week, that they were all going. And I was like, what the heck? So they put me on a waiting list. And I remember being on the waiting list and then finding out that my stepmom needed to get open heart surgery. Some of you may remember that from 2019. And I was like, I can't go. Like, this is a sign. Like, this is why I'm not supposed to go, because she has to get open heart surgery. And guess what? The day before, or a couple of days before she went in for surgery, I got a call that one spot opened up. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then on top of it, my dog got pancreatitis. So that was like, I'm definitely not meant to go. I stayed home with my dog. My stepmom got open heart surgery. And, you know, a part of me was like, she's going to be fine. Like, she's not even going to know if I'm there, basically. And a part of me was like, no, I need to be at the hospital. You know, I need to be there. And it was crazy because I thought to myself, God forbid there was any complications and I wasn't there, I would be devastated. And it turned out that there was complications, and it was really touch and go for a while. Something went wrong in the surgery, but thank God she is okay now. And it was just a wild, wild time. I felt like I was on my own ayahuasca ceremony the whole time they were gone. And so they all went, and they had amazing experiences. Some of them were really hard. Some of them were really beautiful, but overall very transformational. And I was like, I don't know if I'll ever do it. Like, I just didn't feel the call. And they say that when you feel ayahuasca calling, like you feel that pull inside that's like, the medicine is calling you. I didn't feel that. And I had to honor that and honor myself, which was a whole lesson in itself, So flash forward a couple of years to 2021. I was in Florida with my friends. I was in Florida for the whole month of February. I visited my mom. I had a girls' trip. It was awesome. And when I was in Florida, and Todd came too, which was awesome. We had some quality time there. And while I was there, I was with my friends, and they were all talking about doing an ayahuasca ceremony. So I sat with it. And just to kind of give you some backstory on where I'm at in my fertility journey, in February that same month, it was the final round of the fertility treatment I was on. So I was doing 3 months of Clomid, which is a fertility drug with intrautero insemination, and nothing was working. And I was getting very frustrated, and I was sad, and I was feeling a little bit helpless at that time. And we had a consult with the doctor while we were in Florida virtually. And he basically was like, yeah, the next step is you can do more injectables, or you can just move forward with IVF. And I really struggled with that response because there was no explanation for why it wasn't working. And it was just not what I wanted to hear. And so I really was fighting myself with, do I do IVF? Do I not? And we went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And over the next month, so much has opened up for me, like in that month of February. So much has opened up for me as far as getting the information that I finally got the confirmation that I wasn't going to do IVF, and that we were going to be trying naturally. And I got to tell you, when you're in this position of trying to create a game plan for yourself of like, what is the best action, to help your fertility, and how many months you're going to try a certain thing, and how many months you're going to try naturally, or how many months you're going to do this for, like, it's a lot. It's a lot because ultimately it's completely up to you. And that's why I had to really tune into my intuition and really trust myself. And in February specifically, so much feminine energy was unlocked within my body. And I just had a clear knowing of exactly what was right for me. And in that knowing, I was guided to ayahuasca to sit with the grandmother medicine. And so this is a huge part of the story, and I wasn't really planning on sharing all that, but I feel like it's relevant to like the messages that I got when I was in ceremony. So there's that piece of it. But what I learned that month of February was that the most important thing is connection to source, connection to my body, connection to my partner, connection to life, and connection to what we're creating together, and bringing us closer together. And Todd and I had to work out a lot of things that were in the way of us creating our connection. And it's really from connection that everything is created. It's our connection to our focus, our connection to our heart, our connection to the God energy that we are and that we can create with, and the connection to the people around us. Like everything is, connection is everything. Connection is life, right? Everything in life is connected. So anyway, huge aha moments. I had started to work with a movement and dance, and I started to unleash some stuff. There was a lot of stuck energy in my low back. And for months and months and months, I'm like, what is in my low back? So that's your sacral chakra. And I'm like, why is my low back in so much freaking pain all the time? And it was just stuck energy not allowing the divine feminine to move through me. And so as soon as I started getting this movement in, as soon as I started like awakening that Shakti energy, the back started to release and the information started to flow. So fast forward, leading up to ayahuasca, I was a mess. I was extremely scared. I was extremely nervous. I was extremely, all my fear was coming up. Everything was coming up to be purged. I was just so scared that I was going to die. Like really, like I was scared that something bad was going to happen. And all that fear that came up before I went into the ceremony was definitely part of the journey. So they say that when you decide to do ayahuasca, the journey starts the moment that you decide. And while I was leading up to it, I mean, she was already coming to me in my dreams, and all that fear that I needed to purge, I purged well before the event of taking the actual ayahuasca. Like it was all a purge of fear. So all that fear needed to come out. So the lesson there is like whatever you have fear around, whatever you feel fear around, whatever you have that feeling of anxiety around, just know that that's coming up and coming out for a reason. And it's being let go of, it's being released. And so even though I knew on a subconscious level that all that fear was coming up, that was stuck in my body, was being released, I was still afraid to do it. But anyway, ceremony night comes around and we go into the sanctuary where it was. And I'm not going to disclose any of that information because that's not relevant. And so the facilitator starts, telling us, giving us, some preliminary information and basically taking us through a, what's it called when you an orientation. And there was quite a few people there. And everyone was at different parts, but a lot of them were seasoned with the medicine and have taken the medicine multiple times. There was a lot of helpers in the room. So if anyone needed help at all, they were there for you. Regardless, they were amazing. And so it was once the ceremony started, and when we say ceremony, when you ingest plant medicine, you're not ingesting it to have a party and get high, right? It's completely sacred experience filled with prayer and intention and calling in energies of the highest good and protecting the space. And it's a lot different than in college when you tried mushrooms for the first time and you're like, ooh, I'm feeling this or that, right? It's so not like that. It is a ceremony. It is like going to church or synagogue or temple of some sort. It is very, very, very sacred. And plant medicine is very, very sacred. And I look at it of okay, wow, of course God would put these beautiful plants in our plain sight, right? In trees and in mushrooms and things that grow on the ground to help us remember who we really are. And so when the ceremony started, it's filled with prayer. It's a time for healing. Everyone that was there, their intention was to heal and to release whatever's blocking them. And so they always say, when you do any plant medicine, even if you work with marijuana, you should always have an intention. And so when I was, going to the ceremony for weeks, I was thinking about what my intention is. And my intention was always figure out what's blocking you from getting pregnant. But I realized that it's so much more than that. It is so much more than that. And so leading up to it, more of my divine feminine Shakti energy started to be unleashed, and I started to dance and move my hips in ways I never did before. And so I wanted to expand all that energy out even more. And I remember talking to the facilitator even before the ceremony because we had a call, and I was expressing my fear and I was expressing, my doubt, and I was, all the things that were coming up for me. And he was just reminding me that all of that is meant to be, and that the intention that I set, I was telling him, the pregnancy intention. He's like, this is so much more than that. I'm like, okay. So anywho, ceremony night, one by one, each person gets up to take their drink. And when they go up, they drink the drink right there. And I remember it was almost my turn. I remember walking up past the altar, sitting on, the floor and being handed the drink. And I remember looking at the facilitator and saying to him, can you just give me half a cup? And it's literally the size of a shot glass. It's small amount. And he looked at me and he handed me the drink and he said, break on through to the other side. And I was like, oh my goodness. because he knew that I had to go all the way in to break through the fear that I was feeling and to let myself not be in control. Control is a big theme of my ceremony. So I'll just preface that. And I remember taking the drink and bringing it back to my seat. I didn't drink it in front of everyone. And he looked at me when I got back to my seat and he was like, "You're going to drink that, right?" And I'm thinking to myself, I don't fucking know, honestly. Like, I was terrified, you guys. I was so scared. But anyway, I ended up drinking it. And I honestly thought that it was half a cup. So I was just like, I probably won't even feel it. I'll just get through the night. Like, I'm not going to feel anything. Oh boy. So by the time the whole room had their cup, like by the time, because I was kind of in the side of the room that went first, by the time everybody was done with their cup, I started to feel it. And it actually did kind of feel like mushrooms to me a little bit, but it was different. And I remember getting up to go to the bathroom and I saw my friend in the bathroom and I was like, I'm feeling it. And she was like, "Yeah, okay, all right, cool. All right, just go back to your seat." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I go back to my seat and it starts to kick in. And the two people next to me were very, very close friends. And my one friend next to me like wasn't feeling anything. And she's watching it start to kick in for me and I'm starting to feel it and it's feeling very, very strong. And my face is starting to feel like tingly and burny. My tongue is feeling weird. And I actually started to panic a little bit. And I remember raising my hand and asking for help because they said, if you ever need help, just raise your hand. And it was coming on really strong, the medicine. And I was like, I was trying to control it and I was trying to hold on to it. And I was trying to like force myself. And I'm like, why did I do this? This is so stupid. I don't need this. This is dumb. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And I was just judging myself. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't hear ayahuasca yet. And here's the thing, when you're in these ceremonies and you're in plant medicine and you're taking a psychedelic, like whatever is coming up for you is the lesson. Whatever is coming up to your awareness, that is what you're getting out of it. That is part of the lesson of it all. So I was able to still be aware of what I was going through as I was going through it. And I could feel myself trying to hold on. And I could feel myself trying to control it. And so I just asked for help because I felt like I couldn't feel my body. And I was like totally losing control. And I went to the facilitator. I was like, is this normal? I was like, I can't feel my body. Like, is this okay? Like, I'm scared. And she was like, okay, I'm going to bring some sage to you and I'm going to like feather you down, which is like, they're always like clearing out the old energy because she saw that was just old stuck energy coming up. So she came over to me and I was still very in fear and trying to control. And she's like, you need to surrender. You need to let go right now, okay? You need to surrender. Everything, you're safe. You're safe. Just let go. Let go. Surrender. And in that moment, I just broke down and I started crying and I just started to like let it happen. Whatever was happening, I just started hysterically crying. And I'm on my hands and knees and my head's on the floor and I'm like moving my body and she's saging me down. She's like, good, yes, surrender. And it helped me so much to realize like what was coming up was perfectly normal. And I looking back on that very moment, it's like, what about life? When life comes on so strong and you're like, I need help. I don't know what to do. Is this normal? Am I okay? Like we all have internal questions that we ask ourselves. Am I normal? Is this okay? Like, what's happening to me? Those are all very normal questions, but in that state, it's very amplified, right? So it's like, how do we deal with those feelings when they come up in real life? And I remember turning to my friend next to me and saying, I'm just fighting with myself so much right now. Like, I'm trying to let go, but I can't let go. And I'm just fighting with myself. And she wasn't feeling anything. And she's just watching me having this struggle with myself. And she says, it's okay. Just fight with yourself then. Right? So it's like the whole key to the medicine is to not resist it. whatever's coming up for you, to just be okay with it. And that is the key to life, right? It's like whatever's coming up for us in life, it's not to resist it, but it's to embrace it. It's to look at it. It's to be okay with it, even if it's wildly uncomfortable. So she was like, gave me permission to fight with myself. And as soon as I started fighting with myself, I just was able to drop in deeper. So it's like, as soon as you stop resisting the thing that you are resisting, it allows you to transcend it so quickly. So I was able to like move through that resistance, and I was able to go on the journey, and ayahuasca started talking to me, and it was the coolest thing. So when you take ayahuasca, she comes in and she talks to you, and it might sound like your voice, it might sound like a different voice, and it's so powerful. So she's showing me things, and she talks to you through pictures. How it depends on, your abilities, your psychic abilities, your clairsentience, clairvoyance, whatever. So for me, a lot of pictures, a lot of visuals. And I remember even before I got to this point, I forgot to tell you this, but my eyes were open for a long time, and most people keep their eyes closed because it's really like an inward experience. But when my eyes were open, I was seeing neon geometric patterns on the ceiling. They were neon. It was so cool. They were so beautiful and so colorful. And I was like, am I really seeing this right now? Like, is this always there, or just when I'm on ayahuasca? Like, this is crazy. And they're always there. Like, these patterns are all around us. They're what create life. And so it's so cool to see those sacred geometry patterns. And I infuse sacred geometry in a lot of my branding as well. So anywho, as I was starting to drop in, she took me on a little bit of a ride, and she was showing me, the first picture that I recall getting was like shoelaces. And she was showing me like shoelaces and zippers zipped so tight, and the shoelaces were so tight, and just shoelaces were like crossing my mind, and the zippers were being zipped. And I remember laughing because she was showing me like how tight of a grip that I was having and how much control I was having. And she showed me every single one of my fertility appointments, every single time that I was ever inseminated, which was 6 or 7. And she just showed me like, you're trying to control. You're controlling this. You're trying to control. You're trying to make this happen. You're trying to make this happen. You're trying to control. And she was just showing me like a rainbow over my head, all those appointments, and how I was just trying to control everything. And I wasn't trusting divine timing. And I wasn't trusting in my body. And it was so profound. Like, it was like, wow, like I in some degree felt like that, but in another degree felt like I didn't realize how much I was trying to control it. And it was extremely eye-opening, because when you're in that scenario of not understanding why you're not getting pregnant, and I know some of you have been there, it's hard when people say like, oh, just let it happen, because it's going to happen. Just let it happen. It's like, well, when you're trying to create a life, you actually have to do something to help that to happen. You can't just like not have sex, or you can't just like not go to the fertility doctor if that's something that, your body needs. And it's hard sometimes, or it seemed hard then, I should say. It seemed hard to decipher what was right. And it was because I was completely locked out of my intuition, and I was completely just trying to make it happen from a place of control. Not connection, control. So when we are locked out, when we're locked into control, we're locked out of connection. And when we're locked into connection, we actually have full control. So while I was going through this process, I ended up purging, which is part of the brew. It is a purgative. So it does make you puke, which I used to be literally terrified of puking. Now I'm like totally cool with it, because I know that there's extreme benefits from that in some cases. And I was fine with it in this moment. Like when you're in that state, you're not concerned about like, oh, I'm puking. Like everybody in the room is going through their own process. Everyone's making their own sounds. Everyone's throwing up in their own way and in their own time. So it's just like, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. It just happens. And so I finally purged, which was very relieving. And when I did purge, I was able to drop in a completely different way, and things in my body started to get wild. And my friend who was really preparing me for this journey really prepared me to teach me how to move energy through my body, and how to, when I feel that stuck energy, move it through dance or move it through breath. And this is a beautiful lesson for life, right? When you feel stuck energy, to like really learn how to move the energy. And I started, you can also move energy through your sounds. So I started like growling and screaming and crying, and my friend was next to me, and I could feel her doing this energy healing on me. And she was channeling it, and I was feeling all types of way about it because I didn't want her ceremony to be about healing me. I wanted her to have her own experience. But I looked at her and I was like, I'm sorry. Like and she's like, no, like I want to open my spiritual gifts. So her intention was to open up her spiritual gifts more. And she just started healing me, and ayahuasca started working through her to me, and it was just coming through, and it was so beautiful. And she helped me purge a lot. And it was like I was on my hands and knees, and my hips were being wound up. Like ayahuasca was like winding up my hips. Like anything that was stuck in there was just coming out and coming out and coming out. And it was just like so, so powerful. And I started to get this like fertility message. And the message was like, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Your body is perfect. Your journey is perfect. And everything that you want is happening. And it's just up to you to unleash this energy. It's up to you to connect to this divine feminine energy. And she told me that all of my dreams were coming true, and I'm just not fully trusting them. And she showed me, if I trust and live in my heart, everything will manifest. And it's all about heart living. Like in that moment, I was like thinking about just like living from my heart and manifesting from my heart. If you have desires that are in your head, they're less likely to manifest than if they're in your heart. And if you just drop everything into your heart space that you truly want in your heart of hearts, it can't not happen. It's just the way that life is. And ayahuasca showed me my family. It was so beautiful. And she showed me Todd and I with a boy and a girl. And we were walking on the beach, and it was just like so amazing. And I could feel it. Like I could really, really, really feel it. And she said, it's all happening. It is all happening. You just have to let go and enjoy the beautiful life that you created, that you are creating. And I remember like just feeling so in a state of knowing in that moment, just like so incredibly grateful, and just like, yeah, okay, got it. Like I was getting it on a cellular level. Like these messages, like, yeah, create from your heart. They're profound. And in ceremony, it was like getting it on a cellular level, really embedded into my subconscious and into my heart. And I started dancing after that, because the music, they play beautiful music in ceremony. Oh my God, the music was incredible. It was so amazing. And I started dancing, and a lot of people dance during ceremony. Yeah, it's really cool. So I started dancing, and she was telling me, enjoy your beautiful body, fully feel your magnificence and your beauty. And my hair was up, and she told me, take your hair down and swing it around and feel that animalistic, like just like, basically. And I just like didn't care. Everybody's in their own process, but I just felt like this really powerful feeling of letting go on a physical level, and just feel it all. And she's saying, and live from that place. completely out of my head and in my heart. Like in that moment, I was just not in my head at all. I was just feeling my body and loving my body and feeling my my hair swinging around and just like, oh, like feeling my beauty and my essence and my divine sovereignty. And it was just like, oh, it was so amazing. And just realizing like that is why the feminine is so magnetic, right? Like when people talk about the feminine and they're talking about magnetism, the feminine is, she just is. She is that essence. She is that beauty. She is that just divine being. And we all are. And the feminine that I allowed to be unleashed within me, it was fierce and it was potent. And I was like, wow, like this is where life is created from, right? This is where babies come from. This divine feminine force that doesn't have to force anything, but just has to be herself and embrace herself. It's really about embracing who you are on every level that allows yourself to be free of trying to control anything, because when you're in that space, everything comes to you because you are so magnetic. And after that, it was really profound. Ayahuasca showed me my heart, and I was laying there at that point, and I just get this vision of my heart, and it's the shape of a butterfly. Like it's a heart, but it's the wings are like the wings turn into a heart. And so she said that this is your heart, and she told me to take it in and to take in the beauty and the freedom and to trust the metamorphosis, because it's all happening. And all we have to do is trust. Like that was the message that came through for me. It's the message that comes through for you. It's like, if you can just stop trying to make anything happen and trust that the universe knows exactly what you want, exactly what you need, and all you have to do is fully enjoy yourself, fully embrace yourself, fully embody yourself. It was really about embodiment. And when she showed me my heart, it's like, I don't look at myself that way. I know I'm a good person. I know that I do good work in the world, but I don't I don't say, wow, like I have such a beautiful heart. And I know that I have a beautiful heart. Like I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it was just really, really beautiful to be shown that part of me. And I am like forever grateful for that journey, forever grateful for trusting the experience. And, the learnings, they seem so simple, but they are so profound, so deeply profound for me. And I realized that, my baby is teaching me so much. Our child is already teaching us so much. Our child is already connecting us so much. Our child is already transforming my life. Like all of this is part of the lesson. And I would have never gotten this lesson if it wasn't for this experience of not being able to conceive in the time that I thought that I should conceive. And so it feels like a really complete lesson. And I'm just so grateful for it. So the things in your life that you want the most, like there's nothing more that I want. The things in your life that you want the most, they're teaching you something. If they're not here yet, they're teaching you something. And so instead of resisting them, how can you lean into the discomfort and lean into the resistance and transcend it and learn from it and see what's on the other side of it as you lean into it more and more and uncover it more and more, because there is so much here for us. And this is part of the evolution of our souls, right? All these lessons are helping our souls evolve and grow. So I'm crying happy tears. I didn't know that was going to come out, but I'm trusting the tears that this is part of the release of like really integrating this lesson of just, enjoying my life, enjoying my sexuality, embodying my physical body, embodying all that I am, and allowing myself to be seen in that way and allowing myself to own who I am fully and just connecting Todd and I on just deeper and deeper of levels. We're more in love, more connected than we ever were before. And we realized together that, all of our dreams are going to come from us, from our connection. All of our dreams are going to manifest from us staying connected to each other and to the vision and ultimately to love. Because this is also all about unconditionally loving yourself, loving myself, loving our relationship, loving our life. It all comes down to love. My mom asked me the other day, like, what has been the biggest learning in my fertility journey so far? And I said, it's all about love. It's really all about love. And that is my ayahuasca journey. And it's still continuing to unfold, right? Because I'm integrating everything as I go. And I recorded the bulk of that episode yesterday, and I talked to my friends who were next to me during the ceremony, and they said that it was okay for me to share their names. And that was Jen Casey, who was doing that massive healing on me. And then I had Paige Cole next to me as well. And it was just a really beautiful, beautiful experience to go through with two soul sisters, two powerful women by my side. And it was a powerful group. It was a powerful ceremony, life-changing. And I share all of this and sharing from my heart so vulnerably just to be able to support you on your journey, to help you with whatever you're moving through, to help you share in these lessons that I got, because these lessons are universal lessons. And of course, we all get different ones. We all have different, things that we go through and grow through. And I feel very strongly that what I go through is meant to be shared. And I'm proud of myself for being brave enough to share it. And as always, empowering you to be brave enough to share your heart and your story when it feels like you're being called to. Because, and I say this all the time, but that is leadership. That is what helps us, is our stories and our lessons and growing from each other and with each other. So thank you so much for tuning in to this episode, to my journey, for sharing in that with me. There's a lot of exciting things happening. And if you didn't already know, we launched the Big Coach Energy Shop. Oh my God. The Big Coach Energy Shop is a shop that is meant to keep you in high vibes, meant to help you step into your Big Coach energy. It is the home of Big Coach Energy. And in the show notes, you will have a coupon code. So go to the shop, bigcoachenergy.com, and check out our new swag. We're so excited about it. I'm sending you guys so much love. Woo! We did some work today. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too, because we live for the ripple effect over here. And how can you best support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes, and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot the episode and tag me and my guests on Instagram at ManifestWithAsh. Now say it with me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. We don't just talk about it over here. We be about it. Now go get 'em.